as I said yesterday, my mom is deceased. There's another brother of mine, eldest one, also got approved. But the problem is he is married. Is he still eligible for the petition of my mom?
Anybody? Who's the relative?
My mother.
Your mother is the relative?
Yeah.
Your mother's the one who passed away?
Yes. And then he petitioned my brother also, along with my youngest, and it was approved 2 years ago. But unfortunately, my brother is married. When my mom filed the petition, he is single.
Your brother is married, but your mom was a citizen when he got married. It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
As long as your mother was a citizen when your brother got married, it's okay.
So he's still eligible.
Still eligible. Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Thank you so
welcome.
much. That's my last question.
Okay.
I'm a permanent resident since 2012.
Right.
But in 2017, I had a DWI with a minor.
A DWI with a minor, or you had a I guess child abuse case with a minor? What are you talking about?
No.
With a minor?
DWI with a minor.
Oh, you had a minor in the car and you were over the limit. Got it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you have a green card.
Yes, sir.
All right. And when did you get your green card?
In 2012.
And when was this DWI with a minor?
It was in 2017.
Okay. And when did you come to America?
I came to America in 2002.
And how did you come to America?
I come with a visitor's visa.
You came with a visitor's visa. All right.
I overstayed.
So what the law says is a DWI with a minor, that's a crime of moral turpitude. It's a deportable offense. Now, it did not happen within the first 5 years of your entry into America. It happened because your entry into America was on your visitor's visa in 2002. So as long as you do not travel, assuming it's a crime of moral turpitude and not an aggravated felony, I'm not looking at your disposition, but I'm going to assume it's a crime of moral turpitude. I'm 99.9% certain, not 100% until I actually look at it. But assuming you don't travel, they can't deport you on that because you only have one crime of moral turpitude, which happened more than 5 years after you entered America. Ultimately, your DWI with a child happened in 2017, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you travel, you become inadmissible re-entering the United States because the laws are different. So you can't travel. But in 2022, 5 years after the disposition of your case, unless you had some sort of probation, then you got to go even beyond that. But 5 years 5 years from the end of probation or your sentence or when you were found guilty, whatever it is, 5 years good moral character, you're going to file for citizenship and not a day before.
Okay, not a day before. I'll wait the 5 years, right?
Correct. But don't travel, because if you travel, you're going to have a problem.
I traveled twice already.
Don't travel. Okay, don't travel again. You're playing Russian roulette.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Let's go to Saeed in Germantown, Maryland. Saeed.
How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm having a problem with the consulate that's we submitted the DS 5535.
You have
unfortunately, it's been like almost like 5 months right now. I sent a lot of inquiries and I called, nobody answered.
Yeah, you can't get through. You can't get through the National Visa Center anymore.
I called them. They said, unfortunately, that's out the jurisdiction right now.
Yeah. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to do what?
Well, what happened is, you know what I'm saying, I applied for my wife, you know what I'm saying? She went to the interview on the January of this year.
Where?
In Morocco.
In Morocco. Okay. And when she went for the interview, this was in when?
January 31st.
Okay. What happened at the interview in Morocco?
They give her a paper. They said because I was working and I got injured 3 years ago or 4 years ago. I was working as a security and I got injured, so I wasn't making any money.
But that was 4 years ago.
Yes, and what happened that year? I just started working in Domino's and little jobs doing Uber, and my money wasn't enough. So I thought it was going to be enough, so I sent it because I didn't have any sponsors.
But that was 4 years ago. So they asked you for a second affidavit of support?
Yeah, they said they need an affidavit support, which we found on February.
You gave it in February. And
Yeah.
you submitted an affidavit of support from a second person who had a good income, and that was submitted in February. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And we sent it with the passport.
Okay. And since February, did the government ask you for any additional documents?
No, they just sent us the DS 555. 5535.
And what does it say on it? Just that we received your documents and your case is under review or something?
No, they said you need more information about the beneficiary. We just they want to do more background on her. They know if they have any social media accounts that they want to look at it.
Did you submit all that documentation?
Yeah, I submit that
And
in
when
the
did
same
you
month of February.
Okay. And since then, have you received anything?
Nothing.
Okay. So now that's the end of February. So they have basically 120 days to do something, and after that, they're violating your rights and the rights of your wife to come join you in America. So that's the end of February. So you got March, April, May, June. Okay. We're at about 120 days, I would assume, somewhere. Maybe we're at 115 days. Maybe we're at 122 days, something like that. All right. Mm-hmm. At some point, you're going to want a lawyer to contact the embassy in Morocco, because you're at about 120 days now, and say, hey, what's up? It's 120 days. You got to make a decision. And if after 120 days they don't make a decision, and it's 120 days from the last time they asked you to submit a document. So it's 120 days from when you gave all the information that they asked for. Then you can threaten to file a mandamus, force them to make decisions. But you got to give them 120 days. You're very close. So my advice would be, why don't you have a consultation? Let me see everything you did. And if you want, you can have our office contact the embassy in Morocco. And if they screw around, we can talk about a mandamus.
Sure. My last question is, my daughter, she's an American citizen. She was born overboard. She never been in here. You think that's going to help the case, or it doesn't matter?
Well, if it's a child between you and your wife, it helps the case because it proves it's a bona fide marriage. But they're looking.
She's our daughter.
Yeah. Obviously, it helps the case on bona fides. They're looking probably at security background, something or other with your wife because it's Morocco. Okay, but hold on one second, all right?
I'm into the United States since 2002. In my immigration history, I had two major petitions, only two petitions. Petition number 1.
Where are you from, Dan?
Hello?
Where are you from?
India.
You're from India. And you came on what type of visa?
H4.
H4. So your wife was an H1B?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you had two petitions. Tell me the two petitions quickly.
Okay. Petition number 1, I-140. My wife filed it, I-140 and I-45. And I was a dependent.
What year was this?
2004 or 5.
Okay. So how come you got a green card or you never did?
No.
Why didn't you get a green card?
I got a green card on petition number 2.
Okay, good. So what's your question?
Now, let me tell you, I got green card based on my parents' petition that was filed back in 1999, and that is how I got my green card.
Okay.
Now, petition number 1, I think that got denied, but...
What is your question?
Now, question is like the attorney who was handling the file, he did some immigration fraud.
The guy who did petition number 1 did some fraud?
Yeah, immigration attorney, he did some fraud, and he is disbarred by Department of Justice. He was sentenced for 3 years. But that all happened.
You're concerned that may come back affect you when you file for your citizenship?
Correct, because my green card has nothing to do with petition number 1.
I understand that, but if it doesn't matter whether your green card, and I wouldn't say any more, because I don't want you to put your foot in your mouth. But it doesn't matter whether or not your green card was based on a fraudulent application. You could have submitted a fraudulent application, been denied on that fraudulent application, the government knows it's a fraudulent application, then did everything on the second application perfectly right, perfectly kosher, okay, blessed by every rabbi, imam, and priest and pastor out there. It was so perfect. But the fact that you committed a fraud on the first one doesn't forgive you from being perfect on the second one. Once a fraud bars you for life. Now, if you got your green card properly and the government didn't know about the fraud on the first case and then discovers it when you file for your citizenship, then you got a big problem. They're going to take your green card away and put you in deportation. A fraud is a fraud for immigration purposes. They use the term misrepresentation in the Immigration and Nationality Act. The term misrepresentation has a definitive definition. And the definition is, did you knowingly lie to the government to gain a benefit? Sometimes you lie to the government, you didn't know you did it. Sometimes you lied to the government and it has no bearing on whether you got a benefit or not. So, let's say, the government, they ask you a question, what's the color of your car? And you say it's yellow and it's green. Who cares? It has nothing to do with your green card. Okay, but I'm just making it up. That's absurd. Okay, so really what we need to do in your particular case, all right, because they're going to see when you do your citizenship that you had a case that was worked on by a lawyer who went to jail. Okay, so I think what I think we need to do in your particular case, and don't say anything because I don't want you to put your foot in your mouth, is we got to get your immigration records, and then we got to see what this lawyer put in petition number 1, and we got to see what you knew and didn't know about petition number 1, and we got to see if you have a problem or not. So hold on 1 second, and if you want, you could have a consultation with us.
I filed for VAWA case from I-360 from I-765, and I was given Prima Facie on June 21, 2018, and it will actually expire today, June 21, 2019, and yet I don't have a EAD card, and also...
You don't have a what? You don't have a what?
EAD card.
You still okay? So you can ask for an extension of the prima facie to continue to get government benefits. If you filed an I-360, but it sounds like you didn't file your adjustment application. The biggest mistake, the biggest mistake people make when filing a VAWA application based on abuse by a spouse is that they file an I-360 and an I-765, but they never file the I-485. And what happens when you don't file the I-485 is the I-765, which is the application for the work permit, will not get approved until your VAWA case gets approved. Therefore, you delay your work permit 24 months. If you file concurrently an I-485, which is your adjustment, you don't have to wait for the VAWA case to get approved. The fact that you have a pending adjustment gives you the work permit. So my advice to you and to everyone out there who has a VAWA case, file your adjustment and you'll get your work permit.
So, but how long if I file the adjustment right now, how long will it take for my 360 to get, approved? How long does it take?
How long does it take? 18 to 24 months.
Okay, and also I also want to say that I asked my lawyer to put in another EAD form.
But you can put all the EAD forms you want, but you need to get your I-360 approved or file an I-485.
Oh, okay.
So file the I-485, you'll get a work permit. You don't file an I-485, you don't get it. You'll wait years. All right, hold on if you need help.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Okay.
All right.
My husband filed for me, and I went on the interview for my I-485.
Right.
Adjustment of status, and that was he filed was August 2017.
When did you go on your interview?
And I went on the interview March the 21st, 2019.
Okay. What happened on your interview?
Until now, I'm still waiting on a decision.
All right. Well, you got to wait 120 days. Okay.
120
days. After 120 days, you call me back with the same question.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
My uncle, he filed for his brothers and sisters, and when we were living in Jamaica, and when the filing came through, all of his brothers and sisters, all their children came over to the States as well. But my older sister, she was...
Wait. Your uncle filed for his brothers and sisters, of which I guess your mother was one of the sisters, or your father was one of the brothers, I guess. Is that correct?
Yes, my father.
Okay, so all right. So your uncle filed for your father. Okay.
Yes.
And your father got his green card?
Yes, he has his green card.
Okay, and now you're wondering about your brothers and sisters, which is your father's children. Were they included? You got your green card as well through this? No, okay.
No.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Okay, so let me start over. So my uncle that was living in California, he filed for my father.
Okay.
The filing came through, and the filing also included his children, including myself
Correct. I understand that.
and my
Okay.
older sister.
Okay.
However, my older sister, when the filing came through, she was overage.
Okay.
So my question is, now, does she have to redo the entire application process all over again
Yes.
for her to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Your father would have to turn around and file for her. She would get a new priority date and be back on the waiting list.
Okay, all right. That was my question. Appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
If he's a permanent resident, how long it takes for I-130 petition to approve?
Permanent resident filing for who?
My spouse.
Your
In
spouse?
Jamaica.
Takes about a year and a half or so. 2 years.
Okay, year and a half, 2 years. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.